This is the Toone Tremolo, and it fixes just about every floating bridge issue while also improving overall functionality. You can drop tune, double stop bend, it has amazing range, flutters, and silky smooth operation. But on top of all of that, it also has a unique pitch bending feature. There's never been a vibrato bridge quite like it, so let's discuss it in detail. For today's example, the Toone Tremolo has been installed in a Fender American Pro 2 Stratocaster that was purchased from Sweetwater. The stock tuners were replaced with hip-shot locking tuners, but everything else is stock. As you can see, the installation uses the existing bridge and spring cavities in a factory Stratocaster, and the goal is for these bridges to become widely available. All tones are from my Axe-Fx 3, and the setup is purposefully simple. A Fender-style amp with just a little bit of reverb and compression, and any drive tones will come from a tube screamer added to the chain. To start, this bridge has incredible range, and even after extreme use in either direction, it always returns to pitch. Tuning stability is of course the most important thing, and now we've checked that off the list. But there is a group of issues that guitarists have had with floating bridge systems in the past. Number one, you can't move from E standard to drop D without ruining all of your tuning. Number two, double stop bends aren't in tune. And number three, if you do a big bend on your G string in particular, tuning will usually shift. If you've done any research on these issues, you've probably come across bridge stabilizers. When installed, they correct these issues, but they do so by making the entire bridge a lot stiffer. And as a result, you lose that silky subtle response of a floating bridge, and you sacrifice the ability to flutter. Thus far, as guitarists, we've had to choose between these two things: a stiff bridge that fixes the issues, or a silky bridge that has them. The Toone Tremolo is the best compromise I've ever found. We get the ability to drop tune, and double stop bends are much more in tune. Now, with every other system, getting those two things comes with sacrificing flutters and silky operation, but the Toone Tremolo retains both of those things. Now, this is of course still a true floating bridge system. So if you do a big bend on your G string, you do have to dip the bar one time to get things to line back up. And if you break a string, your tuning is of course going to shift. But these two things are just part of having any floating bridge. What we're getting with the Toone Tremolo is all of the most musical parts of a floating bridge and more because of the pitch bend feature we're going to discuss later, and a lot of the benefits of a fixed bridge. In fact, the bridge is actually mounted to the body and extremely sturdy like a fixed bridge. You can palm mute heavily and press down on the bridge without your pitch going sharp. And I also believe that having the bridge mounted to the body in this way contributes to this system's amazing sustain. Since the string manipulation happens internally, as you dip down or pull up, the bridge doesn't move and the string height doesn't change, which contributes to a very consistent feel when playing on this tremolo. But even though you have this very unique operation, all of the adjustments will be totally familiar. We have saddles that move forward and backward for intonation, and up and down for string height, and none of these screws or anything protrude from the bridge. Everything is extremely smooth. And then of course we have springs in the back, a claw arm. All of this is very familiar to you if you're used to vibrato bridges. And then of course we have a removable arm on the front, And one small but really nice detail is that the tightness adjustment for this arm is a large grub screw in the front instead of a tiny grub screw in the back. And that makes getting your preferred stiffness very, very quick and easy. The final feature of this bridge is that it bends each string at the same rate, so you maintain the same intervals across the strings. So for example, you can play a full chord and bend up or down, and the chord stays in tune as it changes. Now, the last time I discussed this feature, there was a bit of confusion, so let me give you a quick comparison. This 2-point vibrato bridge is a very popular design. Many companies make similar models, and it's extremely high quality. When I pull up to the end range of the bridge, where the bridge comes in contact with the body, the high E string goes up about a minor second, the B string a major second, the G string a minor third, the D string a minor second, A string minor third, and the low E string somewhere around a major third. So if you play a chord on this bridge and then pull up, the new chord won't be in tune because the strings are not moving equally. Now here's the important thing to understand. Depending on how your bridge is set up, the intervals between the strings might be different when you pull up on the whammy bar. But the fact that they will never move together in tune is simply a fact. That's true for almost every vibrato bridge that's ever been designed. I know a few of you will remember the Steinberger Trans Trem, which was one of the only other bridges invented that has a pitch bend feature. But this system is totally different than the Rick Toone system. For one, this bridge is very large. It requires a much larger route and is really not designed to be retrofit in another instrument. If you change string gauges, there is a pretty tedious calibration process to get things set up. I think it's great, which is why I own one. But again, there is a serious learning curve to getting to use it, and it doesn't really feel like a normal vibrato bridge. Not to mention, as of the making of this video, these are not available and they haven't been available for many, many years. And now I'll just reiterate that the Rick Toone Tremolo fits in a normal Strat cavity. It doesn't have any fancy calibration process, and it feels and operates like a normal vibrato bridge would. Okay, so at the top of the range of this tremolo, we have a minor third, so your C chord becomes a D sharp chord. And at the bottom of the range, we're going down a major third, so your C becomes a G sharp chord. Now, there are no fixed points throughout the range, and it's smooth operation throughout. So, for example, if you want to pull up from a C to a C sharp to a D, you have to spend time practicing your feel just like you would on any other vibrato system, so it doesn't do anything for you except for the top and the bottom most points. I found that you can start to develop a great feel for getting those in-between points pretty fast, and it's a very short learning curve. Now, although we've been talking about bending chords, the bending is also really amazing for single note lines. For example, since the endpoint is a minor third on every single string, we can look at a scale like A minor pentatonic, and everywhere we see that minor third interval, we can just use the pull up to hit that note. As you can see, there's a lot of different ways to get creative using this tremolo and the pitch bending feature. But I want to conclude by reminding you that even if you don't care about the fancy pitch bending licks, you still have the amazing tuning stability, silky smooth operation, drop tuning, double stop bends that are in tune, easy operation, and so on. The combination of these features alone make this the best vibrato bridge I've ever tried, and there's certainly nothing quite like it that exists today.